Welcome back to the channel. We are taking a dive into comparing the 3 generations of spares in the British royal family. We all know that Harry claims life as a spare is no life at all. But let's take a look at how the royal family has treated the family spare historically. We will take a close look at Princess Margaret, Prince Andrew, and Prince Harry, and see how their lives compare. Let's begin with Queen Elizabeth and her sister Princess Margaret, the spare of this relationship. While both women were educated at home by tutors, Queen Elizabeth II received a much more formal and structured education as she was being prepared for her future role as monarch. She was tutored privately by the Vice Provost of Eton College and had lessons in constitutional history. Princess Margaret, on the other hand, had a less rigorous educational program. As the younger sister, she was not expected to become monarch, and therefore her education was less focused on governmental and constitutional matters. Princess Margaret, the younger sister of Queen Elizabeth II, was known for her candid remarks about various aspects of royal life, including her education. She once said about her education, "I have as much education as my ancestors had." This quote reflects Princess Margaret's rather frank assessment of her own educational background. It suggests that she felt her education was limited or traditional, similar to that of previous generations of royals. The statement also hints at a certain irony or criticism of the royal education system, implying that it may not have evolved significantly over time. This quote is often interpreted as Princess Margaret's way of acknowledging the limitations of her formal education, while also subtly critiquing the royal approach to education during her time. As far as her romantic life, Margaret could not marry without the permission of the Queen, and was also separated from her first love, Group Captain Peter Townsend. The two had planned to marry after Townsend was divorced, but Queen Elizabeth intervened, asking Margaret to wait 2 years. Additionally, they were separated when Townsend was given a diplomatic post in Brussels. Margaret deferred to her sense of duty to her country and her sister, and did not marry Townsend when they reunited. This relationship was seen as her one true love, and it was stolen from her by duty and country. Next, Margaret is recognized as the first royal to be hounded by the paparazzi and denied any kind of privacy. She went so far as to escape to an island to live out of the public eye in the UK. She was not able to do so for long. Eventually, reporters swarmed the island of Mustique. It is not known if the pressures of royal life are what drove her to a life of excessive drinking and smoking, but her lifestyle definitely contributed to her decline in health when she was older. Now to Prince Andrew, the spare to his brother King Charles. Both men were educated equally, Charles receiving a university education and Prince Andrew carving out a very respectable career as a helicopter pilot in the military. Andrew did follow in Margaret's footsteps at least a little bit with his sowing his wild oats before he was married. Porn star Koo Stark was definitely not on the approved list of wives his mother would have allowed. However, Andrew was permitted to marry Sarah Ferguson with considerably less scrutiny than what Lady Diana endured. Andrew, with decidedly less responsibility than Charles, had enough time to associate with those who would definitely be an embarrassment to the royal family, including Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. His many lawsuits and public statements in his defense eventually ended his good standing in the royal family, and he no longer represents the family in public. And now for Prince Harry, younger brother to Prince William. The family put additional focus on William's education and expectations of him as the heir to the throne. However, Harry was not as scrutinized by the family, although he did have the same access to a quality education if he wanted it. Harry was not known for his attention to academics as much as William, and their grades reflected that. Princes William and Harry were both educated equally up until university, with William pursuing a university education while Harry joined the army. Both had military careers, with William being a distinguished pilot and Harry rumored to have played football and video games while being protected by his comrades, while also managing to fail his pilot training. It is widely thought that William and Catherine were brought to their marriage slowly in order to acclimate to the immense pressure of joining the royal family that Catherine was destined to experience. By contrast, Harry was able to obtain permission to marry Meghan Markle in a very short, whirlwind courtship. Harry was treated very well by all accounts, with a multi-million-dollar televised wedding, and was bequeathed Frogmore Cottage, complete with renovations upon his marriage. Additionally, he and Meghan were given distinguished titles of Duke and Duchess of Sussex, and titles followed for their children as well. Harry, like Margaret, lived life on the wild side, with naked parties in Vegas, drug abuse, and some other less than royal activities, shall we say. But in a bid for normal life and some privacy, Harry made the full escape from his family and stopped being a working royal, opting for life in the US with his wife and children. Harry may possibly be the most successful spare in recent history to have lived life just exactly as he wishes. The story is not over for Harry just yet. As divorce rumors loom, we have yet to see if he could return to royal life with his children in tow. The life in the gilded cage has never been easy, but the spare seems to have had it much easier than their sibling. Let us know in the comments who you think had it best. Thank you for joining us for this dive into the life of the spare. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more hookups and heartbreaks. Until next time, take care, and stay tuned for more exclusive content. Goodbye!